For centuries, scholars knew about a gospel called the Gospel of Judas, a book that shows Judas, the man who betrayed Jesus in the New Testament, in a very different light. This gospel says Judas had secret knowledge about who Jesus really was. In 180 A.D., a church leader named Irenæus, known for writing against heresies, mentioned this gospel. He criticized a Christian group that believed Judas understood deep truths and that his betrayal was part of a divine plan. He wrote that they believed all things, both in heaven and on earth, were changed through Judas, and they called this story the Gospel of Judas. Almost 2,000 years later, in 2006, National Geographic shared a text believed to be the same Gospel of Judas. While we can't be sure it's the one Irenæus wrote about, this version does include secret talks between Jesus and Judas. Still, most people know little about the Gospel or what it says. The story of its discovery is complicated. In the 1970s, a treasure hunter in Minya, Egypt found a limestone box in a cave with several ancient writings, including this gospel. These were sold to a Cairo dealer, Hannah Asabil, who tried to sell the codex for $3 million. When he couldn't find a buyer, he smuggled it to the U.S. in 1984 and stored it in a safe on Long Island. Unfortunately, the damp New York climate caused the codex to decay. In 2000, another dealer, Frida Nussberger Chacos, bought the codex and gave it to professional conservators. But by then, parts of it had already rotted. Scholars estimate that 10 to 15% of the gospel was lost due to mishandling. Finally, in 2006, National Geographic got the rights to publish it, sharing the translation and photos with the world. The codex, now called Codex Chacos, measures about 16 by 29 centimeters and includes 4 texts: the letter of Peter to Philip, the first apocalypse of James, the book of Allegenes, the Gospel of Judas. It's written in Sahidic Coptic, an old Egyptian language. Radiocarbon testing dates are between the 3rd and 4th centuries, but if it's a copy of an earlier gospel, it may go back to around 150 A.D., very early for a non-Bible gospel. It's important to know that Judas Iscariot did not write this gospel. It was written at least a century after Jesus' time, and it doesn't teach us about the real-life Jesus, but it does show how Christians in the 2nd and 3rd centuries thought. The Gospel of Judas shows conversations between Jesus and his disciples, with special focus on Jesus and Judas. There are 3 key parts to watch. 1. How it views the 12 disciples. 2. Its unique beliefs about God and the universe. 3. How it views Judas. The Gospel begins with Jesus laughing at the disciples. They ask, "Why are you laughing?" "We are doing what is right." Jesus answers, "I'm not laughing at you. You don't act on your own free will, but to honor your God." The disciples ask, "Aren't you the Son of our God?" Jesus replies, "No generation of your people will know me." This is harsh toward the disciples. In the Gospel, the disciples are shown as confused and ignorant. Christianity in the 2nd century wasn't unified yet. Many groups disagreed with each other, and some wanted to weaken the authority of the 12 disciples. But Judas is different. Only Judas understands Jesus. He says, "I know who you are. You came from the immortal Aeon of Barbello, and I'm not worthy to speak of the one who sent you." This brings us to Sethian Gnosticism, the system behind this gospel. Scholars call the Gospel of Judas a Sethian Gnostic text. Gnosticism is a modern word scholars use to describe certain ancient Christian-like beliefs. No ancient people called themselves Gnostics, but the term helps group similar texts. Sethian texts often rewrite the Bible. In the book of Genesis, God creates the world. But in Sethian writings, the world is made by an evil being called Saklas or Yaldabaoth, meaning fool. The true God is unknown and distant. From him came a series of spiritual beings called Eons, one of whom is Barbello. Saklas is a lower being who wrongly created the world. So, in the Gospel of Judas, the 12 disciples worship Saklas without knowing it. Judas alone knows that Jesus came from the higher realm of Barbello. Later, Jesus tells Judas how the world was made. Then Saklas said to his angels, "Let us create humans in our image." This copies Genesis but blames the world's creation on Saklas, not the true God. Judas is special because he sees Jesus' true origin. Some scholars say the Gospel shows Judas as a hero, in contrast to the other clueless disciples. When National Geographic first published the text, they said Judas was Jesus' most loyal follower. But not everyone agrees. For example, Jesus tells Judas, "You 13th demon, why are you trying so hard?" The word demon in Greek and Coptic can also mean spirit, so National Geographic translated it as 13 spirit. But scholar April DeConnick disagrees. She believed the term 13th demon links Judas to Saklas, who rules the 13th Aeon. This would make Judas the human version of the evil god. There's much debate about whether Judas is a villain or a misunderstood hero in this text. At the very least, we should be careful before calling him Jesus' best friend. In the end, the Gospel of Judas is an amazing find that gives us insight into the different beliefs early Christians had, especially about God, creation, and who really understood Jesus.